his relatively short career, Ken Dryden did nothing but win, backstopping the Canadiens to 6 Stanley Cup titles and taking the Vezina Trophy 5 times along the way. Nicknamed the Pocket Rocket, Henri Richard won the Stanley Cup more times as a player than anyone in hockey history, winning all 11 of his titles with the Canadiens. Though not as famous as his older brother, Richard actually finished his career with 81 more points than Maurice and had his number 16 retired by the Habs in 1975. Larry Robinson was the stalwart of the Canadiens' defensive core through the 70s and 80s. Big Bird won 6 Stanley Cup titles during his time in Montreal and took home the Conn Smythe Trophy as playoff MVP in 1978.
Leading edge for Presley. He moves right in alone. Presley the shot. Whoa, the save!
Although he may soon be passed by Martin Brodeur, Patrick Roy's 551 career wins still make him the winningest goalie in league history. His greatest accomplishments with the Habs will always be delivering the 2 most recent Stanley Cup titles. The first in '86, when Roy was just a rookie, and the second in '93, when he led an improbable run of 10 straight overtime victories. Both times, he won the Conn Smythe Trophy. Jacques Plant's 7 Vezina Trophy wins are more than anyone in league history, but he's perhaps best known for popularizing the goalie mask after sustaining an injury in 1959. Plant spent his first 11 seasons with the Habs, winning the Stanley Cup 5 straight times in the late 50s. Once called the Babe Ruth of hockey, Howie Morenz, the first superstar in the history of the Canadiens. In a time when offense was limited, Morenz scored an impressive 40 goals in 44 games during the 1929-30 season. His career ended in 1937 when he suffered multiple fractures in his leg during a game. An injury that would eventually claim his life as he died from complications less than 2 months later.
He gives it into Lanier, back to Lafleur.
Guy Lafleur's 1,246 career points make him the all-time leading scorer in Canadiens history. The Flower carried the Habs to 5 Stanley Cup titles, including 4 straight in the late 70s, a time in which Lafleur was undisputed as the game's true superstar. Considered the pioneer for rushing defensemen, Doug Harvey won the Norris Trophy 7 times, second only to Bobby Orr for the most in league history. Harvey owned the blue line during the Habs' great dynasty of the 50s when they won 5 straight Stanley Cup titles. Jean Beliveau captained the Habs to 5 Stanley Cup titles and won 10 cups overall in his career as a player, not to mention 7 more as an executive with the team. His other accolades include 14 All-Star Game appearances, an Art Ross Trophy as the league's leading scorer, and the Hart Trophy twice. And at number 1, who could argue with the Rocket, Maurice Richard, a dominant goal scorer and cultural icon during his 18-year career. No player is held in higher regard by Montreal fans than the Rocket. In the 1944-45 season, Richard became the first 50-goal scorer in league history, accomplishing the feat in just 50 games, a record that would stand for almost 40 years.